You're listening to the Smoked Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoked Meat is brought to you today by Black Smoke Coffee at 2972 Macon Road here in Orchard Hill, Georgia. And Mark and Marie are such great people, have such a great atmosphere at the place. You know, you walk in there, you feel like your family the first time you walk in and every time. Go on in, have a good cup, get a good pastry, and nothing like it. They're very mission-oriented. They do a lot for the community. They support first responders wholeheartedly because they've both been there. They know what we go through, and they've always got a good ear. So everybody go and check them out. That's going to be Black Smoke Coffee at 2972 Macon Road in Orchard Hill, Georgia. There's so many great things coming up on Smoked Meat. We are redoing a lot of things. You may have seen our new logo. I love it. Thanks a lot, Anthony, for helping me out with that. I came up with an idea, and he tweaked it and hit it straight out of the park. Such a great guy. We've also started a Patreon. Y'all know I hate asking for money, but I've got some things that I'm really wanting to do and some things that are going to cost a little bit, so hey, every little bit helps. Now tonight, we have got such an amazing guest. It floored me the first time I talked to him, and I'm still floored that I get to talk to him again today. This young man has been in a lot of great stuff. You may know him as Lem from The Shield. You may know him as Kozic from Sons of Anarchy. Or you may know him as Luca from the hit TV series SWAT. That's right, tonight we have Mr. Kenny Johnson. Such a great guy. Enjoyed talking to him. So that's enough of me. I want y'all to kick back, relax, and enjoy here on Smoked Meat. Hey, so how are you doing today, Kenny?
I'm good, brother. Sitting out here in the rain in LA. We don't get it that often, so I really got to enjoy it while it's here, you know?
Oh, man, that's weird. Rain in LA and sunny in Georgia. It's the other way around, usually.
Yeah, we can go for like a year with no rain out here, man. So, like a huge storm came down from San Fran and then hit us through the middle of the night. And it's supposed to like clear out like maybe in about, well, it's actually supposed to be gone now, but it's still raining. So I love it. LA needs it. California needs it. So here we are.
Oh, yeah.
We are.
Something about a good rain, man, just feels like it cleans everything.
Totally, man. I mean, I grew up in Vermont, so we had all 4 seasons, and LA is definitely night and day from what I experienced in Vermont. And I know Georgia's got a lot of seasons too, right?
Kind of. We have November 8th and summer, it feels like. But yeah, winter's been getting colder, so yeah, I just hate snow. But it's all good.
So maybe you know, when is Stranger Things coming out? Because that film's down there in Georgia.
That film's in the town that I live in. I can take you to the trailer park where all the trailers are covered with ivy.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I can take you to all the filming spots here. It's pretty cool. They actually film in my town.
They film a lot there then, right? Because I've seen other shows and movies where actually they use the same quarry, and I seem to see a lot of, similar spots. So that's a popular town of filming?
Yeah, and Georgia's got so many tax breaks right now for filming. I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing the yellow and black signs.
Right.
And
that's great.
When we first moved up here from Augusta, we moved to Fayetteville, and I decided I wasn't getting back into medicine, so I actually went to cook at Nick and Norman's in Sonoya. You know, Norman Reedus has a restaurant with Greg Nicotero there, and we could actually throw a rock and hit the Alexandria set. So
that's so funny. That's so funny.
That was so
cool.
He
opened. What did he open? Cafe up there?
Yeah, it's a nice little place. Has really good food, especially when I was cooking. So, but yeah.
So you were like a chef?
Kind of self-trained.
Okay.
I'm kind of having to train myself a little bit differently now because, you know, like we talked about, I got the high blood pressure and diabetes now, and I'm doing a lot healthier stuff. I never did a lot of salt and never fried a lot, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to trying to do healthy. And what really drives me crazy is I just came up with a recipe. I call it Kentucky Fried Rice, which I'll cook the rice like normal before I fry it, and then I'll mix brown sugar in it, put it on my flat top and fry it like normal, and right before it's done, I'll get a really good bourbon and pour over it and light the bourbon where it kills the alcohol, but it sears it into the rice. A little bit of mushroom and a little bit of thin sliced steak, and it is amazing. And now I really can't do the rice or the sugar, and it sucks.
Yeah, no, that Southern food, man, is tasty, but you can pay the price sometimes because of what's in it, you know?
Oh, yeah. You know, my 50th birthday is coming up, and my plans are to do a brisket for that, so I don't need it, but I'm going to do one.
Yum. Yeah. Well, happy birthday coming up. When is your birthday?
November 13th.
Dang, that's close. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't really want to have a party, and my wife and kids said, yeah, we're having one whether you want it or not. So, it is what it is.
That's cool. Yeah. That's celebration, man. 50 years is, for whatever reason, a lot of my friends, celebrate, not that they do, but their wives, their families or whatever, like, the 50th is like a milestone for people, I guess, you know? They're like, that's a big deal. So, congrats.
Yeah, a friend of mine summed it up really well. He said, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken a lot better care of myself. So,
yeah.
But if nothing else, it's been a fun ride.
Definitely.
But this show is kind of one of my therapies that I do, you know, because you know I'm a paramedic, been one for 31 years, and this just kind of helps wash away all that nasty. And I love doing this.
That's so cool. And I mean, it's a great medium to get out. And like sometimes, like in acting, it can be for me therapeutic. Like a lot of things that you try to deal with in real life and everything like that. I get to then also create these characters and work through issues and things that parallel a lot of stuff that that have given me a really struggle and hard time in life. And acting is incredibly therapeutic, and at the same time you're like really hopefully trying to share something or connect with the audience in some sort of way that they can understand a very similar mutual energy going on with you, that they're going through the same thing, and in some way you hope that it's healing in some kind of way. So that's cool that you do this.
Yeah, I love doing it. And I've never monetized the show. I've had little sponsors here and there, people that I knew. I had a candle company from actually out in California called 4 Points Trading Company. And we found some of the candles here, and they're manly scents. They have like campfire, bourbon, things like that. So I contacted them. They sent me a big box of candles, so they were my sponsor for a good while. And I actually just got another one for this show today, a place here in Griffin called Black Smoke Coffee. And they support first responders wholeheartedly. They love us, and they actually have classes about PTSD, and they don't just hold them for the responder, they hold them for the family too, to help, teach about that. And that is so awesome to me. I love it. I did it for a can of coffee.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, I mean, obviously being a first responder, you guys are, I always talk about it with like SWAT or police or first responders or doctors. You guys are the real deal that, help save lives and put yourself out there kind of selflessly to, help, number one, save lives. Number two, protect and keep community safe for, for us, regular people to live in, without knowing there's all these crazy things going on in the world, and you save lives. We just, as actors, go out there and pretend to be these characters and hope to do something positive or good in our own light. But you guys are like the real deal, and I have all the respect in the world.
Well, one thing that I love about you, and this isn't me blowing smoke or fanboying out, is, I remember watching you in The Shield and everything, and you don't just get out there, okay, I've got the vest, I've got the gun, okay, I'm going to Groucho walk, because that's what everybody that has not really any training thinks it is. You squat down and walk, and it's not. You walk from the knees down. And y'all pay so much attention to detail. I mean, the little things that nobody else would notice, but the people who have done it do. And that's just such an honor that you take it that seriously. And I appreciate
Yeah.
that a lot.
Oh, yeah. No, I thank you. I mean, we had a tech guy on the Shield that was like, really hard on us, but mostly me for whatever reason. Like he picked me out, this guy Jesse, and everything we would do technically, I mean, he would just be on me about what's right, what's wrong, what to do, what to adjust, this, that, and he watched every take. And I thought, man, what the F is wrong? Like I grew up with weapons and I kind of know how to shoot and handle them pretty well. But he just wanted me to look the way I should look on camera and the way that they would actually do it. So, I went out and I trained with him, like off the set and on the set. But he definitely was there for the whole run through the Shield. And that was something, that I took pride in. Plus, we're representing, even though we were like the strike team and we're doing things that were like, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, every role I've ever done, I definitely have, whether military training advisors, I go out, I shoot with them, I try to learn about the weapon, what to do, how to take it apart, how to clean it, and, whatever you need to know to make it look right. And on the show right now that I'm doing SWAT, it's the same thing. We have a SWAT guy that was there most of his life, and now he retired, and he's our tech advisor, and everything is about pleasing him. Like we act and we do what we do with the characters, but we all want to please Odie because we know he's the real guy. We know he represents what is out there. And so, that's our whole thing, is like everything about what we do is, grilled into us, like, for a week straight before shooting, it'd be like 8 hours a day, every day. And it'd be like grilling us through exercises, like we're in boot camp. And then, every day that we shoot, it's the same thing, repetitiously, like it lets us go over it, but everything is to a milli-inch with this or that, what you're doing right or wrong. And he catches anything, and he's still like a drill sergeant on the set. 5 seasons in, he watches us and he wants to get it right. And so, our show becomes about, the acting and the emotional arcs, but it becomes about when we're SWAT officers, we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it to a T, and he's going to be there barking his ass off at us because that's just what he does to get the right performance out of us. So I appreciate you noticing that, but at the same time, I've been lucky enough to get guys on the sets that take it that serious on their end. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it just helps out for all of us on our end.
Yeah, and it's just awesome. Like I say, it means a lot when you look at somebody and they're doing it right. And I mean, it's excuse me, it's a piece of you. It just to me, you can act all day long, but if it's not a little piece of you in that acting, everybody knows it.
Right.
Just like this show, when I do it, I could get on here and use the radio voice and go, "So, Kenny, tell me about your newest show. What's the new episode about?"
Right.
I'll have people for 3 seconds because they'll know it's canned garbage. It's not me. But it's just me talking. My biggest episode, my brother passed a couple of years ago, and I just sat down and talked for 45 minutes about my brother. The episode's called Andy, if you ever want to listen to it. And people respond to that. When you put yourself out there, they respond hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing better than, realism. I mean, there's nothing better than that. And, I mean, I do that with what I do in my acting, my characters. Again, I try to make everything as realistic as possible for me. Like the Shield, what did we do? We were these guys who, did things not by the book, and, does the end justify the means? And can we go out there and catch a rapist who got away with something and then kill him on our own and say, well, you know what, F this guy, he was a piece of crap and we got rid of him, and everyone's going to cheer us on. And it's okay. And then once it starts happening a little too much, and then we get rid of the wrong people that we think that was supposed to be the scumbag, but then we find out he's not, and we're like, then we got to burn his body in acid and get rid of it. I started reevaluating. I'm like, okay, who I understand who we're playing and what we're playing, but now I'm getting to the point to where, as a person, me, Kenny, I'm like, I can't ignore this. Like, how would I feel in real life if I was doing this,
Yeah.
And it started eating away at me, and all the things that we did wrong by effing up and getting rid of the wrong people and then having to hide the bodies. And I had nightmares about, weird things personally, like growing up where, somehow I think I had murdered somebody and they're going to find out and they're going to find out. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, thank God it was a nightmare because, dude, I remember the guilt in my dream. And I'm thinking like, that would be the worst thing in the world. So I started thinking like, okay, well, this is the way it would be in real life, Yeah. So I remember just getting so into my character that I started getting like a stomach ulcer because I would do so much homework on my on Lem, and I would write every night. I'd write 20 or 30 pages of a diary on my personal feelings of what was going on, and I wouldn't monitor myself, and it was like really messing with me, And then I remember the studio execs like seeing me on the weekends, going like, "Man, you look like you look like hell. You look like you're still in your character." I go, "Yeah, I think I am." I go like, I can't get out of it, and it was working on me. And then the creator realized that and then wrote that into it, like Lem's now got a stomach ulcer because I was going through that. And then he takes Tums and so everything, like he was open enough to realize like, okay, when I see something in an actor that's real and that's really part of him, I'm going to try to use this to my advantage and write that in as much as possible. So he did. And for me, again, I've got to personalize everything and make it human in some sort of way. And if you don't, then see you're playing a caricature that I think is just a waste of time and energy and people's time. Like if you're going to do it, you got to bring a piece of yourself or be able to relate to something in it where you can bring your personal feelings in it and then play as much as you, but you're another character that has, done or gone through things that maybe aren't you whatsoever. But if you could identify with it and then you could like be honest about how would you actually feel if this really happened to you, I try to use that as much as possible because otherwise it's like bullshit,
Yeah.
I find it bullshit and like you say, like waste of people's time,
Yeah. Yeah. And one neat thing about the Shield, you'll get a kick out of this. One of my dress out songs is Ball with the Ball from when y'all were ready to go on the road with Terry. That's one of my dress out songs.
Yeah.
I've got three of them. I've got that. I've got Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And
nice.
Pantera's version of Mission Impossible theme.
Oh, that's so badass. Yeah. Oh, that's so badass.
I used to listen to those whenever I'd be getting my gear ready and dressing out. And man, the Sabotage still just makes me vibrate to this day. I want to go kick a door in so bad.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
And just little things, I know you probably wasn't listening to that song when you were in the back of the van, with your headphones in listening.
Yeah.
That gets me amped up and gets me ready to do what we need to do. I haven't done that in a long time, and I really miss it.
It's so funny because they did not play that song while we're in there. We had to pretend like we were listening to a song that was, whatever, but they never told us that was going to be the song. So I always personally listen to music on my own. Mm-hmm. So that whole thing of the head bobbing, that just happened to go with the music. Thank God, because they didn't tell us, Oh, man.
Yeah, now break my heart and tell me it was like Wayne Newton, which, by the way, I've got Wayne on my playlist, but not for dressing out.
That's funny. Wayne Newton. Oh, my God.
Yes, I could see getting ready to go on a raid and listening to Donka Shane.
Yeah. But, man.
Yeah, and another funny thing, the first movie me and my wife ever went to was Blade, and I just found out like 20 minutes ago you were in the opening scene, and I sat and watched the video. I'm like, holy crap, really?
Yeah.
So that's funny. Yeah. You were on our first date with us.
That's so cool, man. No, I love that. I think he's gonna say Blade. Yep. And I love that. That was cool. Yeah, that was a badass. Ended up being a badass little film that actually saved Marvel from going under because that was the last film they were making, and then they were going to go bankrupt, and that film did really well, and it saved Marvel, and then Marvel obviously, is what it is right now, which is crazy.
Yeah. They actually film a lot of those where I just moved from in Fayetteville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. They film most of the Marvel movies over at Pinewood Studios.
That's so funny. Oh, man.
But yeah, it was funny, and that was probably the only scene that she actually saw, because when the blood started coming out of the sprinklers, she said, "Oh shit," and covered her eyes and stayed
And
that way
covered
through the
her
whole
eyes.
movie.
That's
Yeah. Oh,
so funny.
she doesn't do scary movies, and my kids talked her into going to see the new Halloween last weekend, and it was beautiful. I didn't get to go because I was at work, but she watched it through their
But
fingers.
you talked her into going?
No, my kids did. I know better. I know I'm not going to get her
Oh,
to go. And
right.
she was
That's funny.
terrified. But we had to go down to our old house last weekend and do some cleaning out, and we stayed in a hotel. And a friend of mine has a movie quality Michael Myers costume and just loves the character. So he went upstairs and knocked on the door for my oldest daughter to answer, and it was beautiful. I posted the video on my Facebook wall. It was so great. Couldn't have worked out better. She's going to need so much therapy having me as her dad.
How old is she?
She is 21.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep, she's 21,
No,
and my youngest daughter is 18.
that's
And
crazy. That's
they're the
great.
love of my life. Yep.
That's so great.
But yeah.
Now, as a dad, have you ever had any? Did you go? I mean, there's a lot of growing spurts and things that happen inside of kids. Obviously, did you ever go through any like tougher years? Like what age? What age was the toughest for you as a dad?
Oddly
For your
enough,
kid?
I really didn't have a lot of them. They've always been really close to us. And
Right.
I'm happy that I didn't have the I hate my parents phase. But at the same time, I kind of feel cheated.
Right.
But, they've always just been really close to us. Matter of fact, my oldest daughter was in college in Augusta while we were up here when COVID hit, and they basically canceled everything. So she came home, and they're both with us now just because of COVID, and they're getting their lives going. And I know they're going to launch, and it kind of hurts a little bit inside, but it's going to feel good, too, to see them do it. Get out and be their own people, and me look at them and know, hey, me and their mom made these. And there's nothing like it.
That's funny.
Yeah. And my youngest one is me made over. I'm getting paid back so bad because I'm also a comedian, and she kills me. She kills me. She doesn't laugh at my dad jokes. I told one the other night about a duck, about it wearing a tuxedo. They didn't laugh, and then she said, "Yeah, it covers its butt quack," and just started cackling. I'm like, "Really? Butt quack gets a laugh and a tuxedo doesn't?" I said, "What if he's a duck detective?" Crickets.
Nothing. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're killing me.
She's out. That's funny.
Yeah.
Funny, man.
But yeah, the name of the show is Smoked Meat. I can give you the quick story on why it's called Smoked Meat because it confuses everyone. And I've thought about changing it, but I can't do it.
Okay, go ahead.
6 years ago, I had 2 strokes. And they didn't get me physically. I got really lucky, but it scrambled my eggs a lot. I have a stutter that comes back. I have days where I cry all day long. I have days where just inside of me just total rage all day. Things like that. Just all kind of little tics. And I was at home for 4 months afterward because obviously I couldn't work. And I've got a friend who loves to hunt. I love hunting, but I couldn't even hunt.
Right.
And he doesn't like wild game, so he would kill a pig or a deer and call me and another friend of mine and say, "Come get it, you can have it." So we would go get it. And I got tired of making, hamburger out of everything. So I learned how to make different sausages. I do andouille, brats, summer sausage, pepperoni, you name it. I do a venison pastrami that's amazing.
Wow.
And that helped get me through this. So I called the show Smoked Meat as kind of an homage to that. I'm actually doing the show, I'm recording in my cook shack now.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's why it's called Smoked Meat.
Love that, bro.
But yeah. And,
meanwhile, you're like stirring up some recipe right now.
Oh man, I'm ready to get cooking again. I cooked, like I said, I did the Kentucky fried rice, and I'll come down here on my flat top and do like breakfast for dinner for them and everything like that. But I'm ready for a big cook. I'm ready for the party because I'm going to come. I get off work at 9 o'clock that night before, and I'm going to just come straight home and start the brisket. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be fun though. Yep.
That sounds dreamy to me, actually.
Yeah, hey,
I mean,
all you got to do
cook
is come to
brisket at
Atlanta,
home.
man. You're fed anytime you come to Atlanta. That is a given. I'm about an hour south.
I just got to fly there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You will eventually film something here. I guarantee. Everybody's filming here. This is where they film Ozark at. Well, right above me.
Right,
But
right, 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 right.
but yeah,
I've
they.
only filmed, yeah, one time in like 2015. I think I did one, one, yeah, one time, yeah, one time. One time I flew there to do a press junket, I think, and then one time I did a movie with Anthony Hopkins and Colin Farrell and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and that was shot there too. So that was the only two times I've been there. Like I've not been there for an extended time, And I know once I got on the outskirts of Atlanta,
Yeah,
it was beautiful. I mean, like literally, the outskirts was so gorgeous, and I'm like, man, I just want to see more of Georgia. I really would. I would love to see more of Georgia.
yeah. I was born and raised here, and I love it. I've left a time or two, and it always sucks me right back in. And we've kind of settled on what I'll call our forever home now. We bought this place. It's got almost 12 acres. Has my cook shack, and it butts up to a big 12-acre lake, which the owner of the lake gave us fishing rights. So
Wow.
I'm happy. I'm in
Dude,
my peaceful place.
right, right, right. 12 acres is awesome, brother. I mean, do you got alligators out there? Obviously.
We've got some. We haven't got any in our pond here, but I mean they're in Georgia. But I haven't
Yeah,
seen any out here. I,
yeah,
I
I,
would probably wind up doing some jail time because I would have to I'd have to fight not to get me a gator.
yeah, yeah. Why you're not allowed to touch gators out there?
Oh, you got to have a permit, and they do a drawing here in Georgia for them. So you enter the drawing, and you may live in North Georgia, and you get selected for one of the counties in South Georgia. That's where you have to go kill your gator at.
Okay,
So,
okay,
so yeah.
okay, okay.
The one thing I hate is snakes, and we've got copperheads really bad this year because the cicadas were out. And copperheads,
Right.
that's like candy to copperheads. So we've had several of those. My wife actually missed getting bit by one by about an inch earlier this summer.
Jesus, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was striking hard at her and it couldn't get to her. It was hung up in some netting we had put up around the garden. And
Right.
she didn't notice it when she stepped over the netting, but when she got into the garden, she saw a big black snake and said, I know he's a good snake, so I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to leave him alone. And turned around to go out, and her thigh was about an inch away from one that had crawled up the netting and gotten hung up.
Holy
And
crap.
it was trying hard to get her. And
Holy crap, man.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I don't dig snakes.
Nah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, not like copperheads or yeah, no doubt, man.
yeah,
Copperheads or like rattlers, like we have, yeah, rattlers out here, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like you don't want to deal with like poisonous snakes like that. It just like sucks.
yeah,
That just sucks. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I know we're getting close to the end because we're just about at the half hour mark. So, question for you: I try and get not really a recipe, but a good idea for a recipe from most people that I have on here. If you came to Georgia today and said, I need you to cook for me, what would you want me to cook?
Oh, you know what you just said? A brisket. The brisket was some sort of like I don't know, brown sugar kind of like
I've got a
whatever.
bourbon brown sugar glaze that I do for them. It's great. I love
Dude,
cooking with bourbon.
insane. I love cooked brisket number one, and that number two, that would be it right there.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, on the bourbon front, I saw where a friend of yours, Walton Goggins, has the Mulholland Distillery now.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they're actually able to sell in Georgia now. So I'm looking forward to finding that and trying it out.
Oh, good. Oh, that. Oh, good, 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 good. Because he grew up down there, mostly in Georgia. So that would be pretty awesome, man. If you got it down there, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
Southern boy,
Yeah. And hey,
Southern Walt Goggins Jr.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm easy to sponsor. I'd probably have it on the show every time for a case. But if you're listening, Walton,
I'll tell him.
but
I'll let him know. I'll definitely let him know.
hell yeah.
My God, I've known Walton since like right after Blade. I shot Major League 3,
Hmm.
and he and I were in that, and then we became we're roommates. Like we rented a house on Folly Beach in South Carolina for about 3 months, and then became best friends after that. And then we ended up getting the Shield together and had no idea until the first day of shooting. And that worked out pretty brilliantly. So he's always been like, one of my best friends, for a long time.
Yeah. Well, very
He's
cool.
He is a good man. Good man.
Outstanding. Well, man, I could talk to you for hours, but I know you got a lot of time constraints today, and I can dig it.
Thank you.
You're welcome on here anytime. I don't care when. It takes
Okay.
me 2 minutes to set up.
Okay, bro. It was a pleasure being on. I appreciate you having me come on.
Hey, I appreciate it a bunch, brother. You take them easy.
Okay, you keep doing your thing, man, and stay in touch.
All right.